The really cool thing about these policies, and this is just true of all whole life policies, just ours happen to be in Bitcoin, that you can take a policy loan against the policy tax-free in the future. So if the price of Bitcoin or the exchange rate with Bitcoin has gone from 100,000 to a million or 10 million or whatever you think it's going to be, you can borrow Bitcoin out of the policy, and to you and to your tax bill, that's fresh Bitcoin. No capital gains between here and there.
We got the infamous Zac Townsend here on the Bitcoin economy. We're here live at BTC 2025. Things are popping. Zac, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. Zac, I'm hearing life insurance, Bitcoin, a lot more. You got to start telling us how it all works.
Well, meanwhile, the world's best Bitcoin life insurance company. So basically, we sell people Bitcoin life insurance. We started the business exactly because I've got two kids, age 7 and 3. I was thinking about saving for their futures. And I was thinking to myself, why am I saving? Why am I buying life insurance in dollars? The purchasing power of dollars has gone down 20% since my son was born. And that's just crazy. Whereas if I was able to buy life insurance in Bitcoin, able to save for my kids, plan for their futures, I've seen the purchasing power of that go up. And I am going to continue to see that for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. That's really how simple it is. There's all these different bells and whistles and benefits and how it works. Fundamentally, it is whole life insurance. It lasts your whole life. And it's entirely in Bitcoin.
You and I have known each other for quite some time now. We've been talking.
My pleasure.
And you always have great ideas. Coming back to the fundamentals, I was just saying to you before we were recording, I have a life insurance provider right now. I'm 44. The problem that I'm currently facing right now is I get older, it gets more expensive. However, I want to put my money to work for me. How would you do that with this policy if you're holding Bitcoin?
So the policy is a whole life policy, so it lasts your whole life. And because you will eventually die, I'm sorry to be the bearer of that bad news, your kids will eventually get a payout. And so the policy is as straightforward as you pay us 1 Bitcoin over 10 years. That's a tenth of a Bitcoin a year. And then we make a fixed guaranteed promise to you about how much Bitcoin your kids get. And you're right, it is based on how old you are. So if you're older, the ratio is a little lower. But basically there's compounding inside the policy. So you've paid us 1, and we might pay you 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. But to your point about benefits within your lifetime, the really cool thing about these policies, and this is just true of all whole life policies, just ours happen to be in Bitcoin, that you can take a policy loan against the policy tax-free in the future. So if the price of Bitcoin or the exchange rate with Bitcoin has gone from 100,000 to a million or 10 million or whatever you think it's going to be, you can borrow Bitcoin out of the policy, and to you and to your tax bill, that's fresh Bitcoin. No capital gains between here and there. So we're protecting you in case you get hit by a bus. We're protecting your kids in case you get hit by a bus. Literally, and life insurance are like each other. They are like the same idea. And you do need liquidity in your lifetime. You get these tax-free benefits. And by the way, this is not some like I came up with. This is just a practice. This is like says black and white inside the Internal Revenue Code. It has to do with life insurance. And then what we've done is we've built a life insurance company, we've built a life insurance policy, all entirely in Bitcoin to comply with those tax rules, so you get the same tax benefits that a dollar life policy would have, but with the inflation hedge and the long-term appreciation of the Bitcoin policy.
That's what makes sense to me is, so as somebody who bought early, I'm looking at it saying, okay, the side you really have is price appreciation of the asset. But if I can take that, you can bundle it with something like providing life insurance, you get the tax savings. The big thing you said was that I read too when I was talking with your team was I can take a loan out. I'm not going to pay taxes. So it's open to anyone in the US, and you clarify, you don't need to own Bitcoin before. You can buy Bitcoin and use that to purchase a policy if you want, correct?
So firstly, it is available to anyone in the United States, 18 to 65, who can be underwritten. So if you love deep, skydiving, or you just got diagnosed with cancer, you are able to buy a policy. We are still a life insurance company, and we would prefer to underwrite healthy.
So the second question was the BVI, I believe, right?
Bermuda, very serious. It's where like Chubb, Munich Re, Swiss Re,
So if
Athene.
why? So let me ask you this: why would you not do it in the U.S.?
Oh, because the U.S. So life insurance,
Bring it back.
yeah, regulated by state,
Okay.
and we're working with a number of state regulators to try to bring our business model to the United States. Right now, we operate offshore in Bermuda, but Bermuda is like a legit insurance capital of the world. Tons of insurance companies are based there. People can come to us by going to meanwhile.bm, a Bermuda website, and they can buy life insurance offshore. Because people in the United States have a right to buy life insurance from whoever they want. 18 to 0, minimum policy size.
Cannabis.
Oh, do people have to own Bitcoin?
That's
Look,
right.
look, you do have to pay over 10 years, right?
Right.
So we really urge people not to buy a policy bigger than the amount of Bitcoin they have, right? So if you have one Bitcoin, you could buy one Bitcoin policy. You have 100 Bitcoin, you could buy whatever. Well, our max policy size is about 30 Bitcoin into the policy.
Oh, I played around with the calculator.
Yeah. What I will say is we have some really sophisticated purchasers who are like, oh, I'll use this as the way I dollar cost average into Bitcoin.
Zach, if people want to check it out, where do they go?
Meanwhile.bm.
Actually did sign up, going through the process. Really smooth, really impressed with everything you've done at the firm, and I look forward to seeing what you got coming.
Great.
Thanks again, man.
Thank you.